Hey guys, Jerry with 3DHP. It's here. The QiD iFast is here. It is so amazing. It has a heated chamber. It's got a carbon filter with exhaust fan. Linear guide rails on XYZ. Let's find out more about it right after this. Hey, thank you for sticking around. Yeah, this new and improved version of the QiD iFast that just came out, I've been testing it for about a week now. And as you can see on the top there, they've included filament dry boxes, which I'll be doing a separate video on the dry box, but it has a huge pack of desiccant that goes in there and seals it. And then it has a short piece of Capricorn style tubing that goes into dual filament runout sensors. And then since it has direct drive hot ends, it runs straight down to the hot end. It's like a reverse Bowden type setup. And when you're printing PLA or TPU, it's recommended that you remove this cover here. Let me see if I can get it up. That way, you know, it doesn't get too hot for the PLA, TPU, or whatever low temperature material you're printing. And then you simply set it back on when you're printing high temp materials. It has a camera built into it, which I haven't been able to figure out how to get the camera to work right. But you're supposed to be able to monitor it on your cell phone. You can't stop prints at the moment from what I know of, but you can monitor your prints. And there's supposed to be an app out there a friend of mine was telling me about where I can monitor it on my PC also. And it has internet connectivity, so you can shoot stuff over to it just like you do on a Pi. If you're on your PC and your slicer, you can shoot the files over, or you can put them on the SD card here simply right in the front. But the door opens up all the way. So it gets completely out of your way. You can swing it all the way open. The build surface on this is 360 by 250 by 320. The build surface is a PEI type spray coating. It is the same on both sides. In the past, earlier models, they had two different build surfaces. This is the same, basically. It appears to be on both sides. Okay, guys, on leveling the bed, you do it all on the screen. It's very simple. You take the supplied card here. It's like a plastic material, and you can do a quick level or a 3-point level, which is all done on the screen. It's very simple. This bed does go up higher. You simply slip your hand up in here and you test one nozzle, or you do the second nozzle to where it barely grabs it in material. Like with a normal printer, you use paper. This one uses plastic card they supply. Get a little bit of a drag. Or you can do a 3-point level where it comes over here to this side, and then the center and the back, which I reach through the top to get down to the bed to check that. Right down here it has this big nut, and then it's got a wing nut to back up the nut. You would simply barely turn this big nut to adjust one corner up or down slightly, and then you tighten up the wing nut against it, holds it there forever. It's not going to move. It's not going to get out of level. You should rarely ever have to check it. Of course, eventually something might get out of level, but it shouldn't. So simply use a paper, level it. It's got a very thick milled aluminum plate that's perfectly flat. No reason for an ABL on this whatsoever. Doesn't need it. It's, like I say, very simple to do a check in the middle, check the corners, boom, you're up and printing. So you unpack it, you check the level on it, boom, you're ready to start printing that quick. There is test files on the SD card. Now, one file that was on there, I think it was a Dragon or something, that was on the card. I loaded it, I went to print it, but it had no temperature, so I couldn't print it because the hot ends weren't heating up on it. So they failed. They sliced the model, and they failed to have any temperature for it. So other than that, the other test prints worked fine, and then the models that I sliced worked fine. And yeah, so I just wanted to add that real quick. You can kind of see inside here. We've got that carbon filter right here with a fan to help draw out any kind of air or anything from whether it be PLA or whatever. You got a heater over here, which will pump heat into the bed and heat up your chamber. Other than the bed, you have a complete heated chamber. That way, with high temp material, you don't have any kind of warping or your layer adhesion pulling apart, whatever. It keeps the heat in, keeps it well heated. And this is the first printer I know of. I know there's a company that was holding the market on having a heated chamber, and their patent expired here a while back. So now QiD has it out, and they're doing the same thing, having a heated chamber. It's very cool. Forget the name of the company, but anyway, somebody in chat will know. But yeah, When you receive this, I had to get my son to help me pull it out of the styrofoam and set up on the table. It weighs probably 95 to 100 pounds. It does have handles on the side, but it's very big and bulky, so it's best if you get help in lifting it. Where else can I go with this? I've done a lot of cool prints. I've had a few failures, which I'll show you. It's been great so far. I love it. It replaced my CR10 that I originally had sitting over here to the left. I had an enclosure. This has an enclosure. I'm going to be doing another video talking about the carbon fiber that I bought off Amazon from QiD, and their dry box, which I bought off Amazon that I'll use on a different printer. I'll be talking about that also in a separate video, but yeah, it's been great so far. I've noticed on Amazon they list different dimensions, but this is for sure 360 by 250 by 320 tall, and it's rectangular. It's not very loud at all when it prints. It doesn't make much noise. It has a light that you can simply turn on and off, and different menu screens. Whenever you go to pick a file, something that's really cool about it, it shows you a picture. Rather than you trying to remember what you called what file, it shows you a picture right on the screen of the model that you're getting ready to print. And then in the slicer, when you slice it with, they have their slicer, they supply it, which is like a Cura version. And I got it, they gave you, on the SD card, they gave me a profile, an FFF profile for simplified 3D. And then I contacted them and they sent me out a profile to use with Prusa Slicer so I can try the painted on supports feature. And in the slicer, you simply pick head 1 or head 2. And as you can see here, I'll back it up. This is head 1, this is head 2. It's got dual heads on it. And in order for that to change, it has a rod that sticks out here on the side. The head will go all the way to one side, bump, and then the other nozzle drops down lower. One will be high, one will be low, depending on which nozzle it's printing with. And I've got some, I think it's called PVA, coming from Polymaker in the mail that hasn't been shipped yet, but I'll be doing that in my next video. And yeah, I've had no real issues. I'll go through and I'll show you all the prints here. Originally, when I done my first print, it beeped when it got done and it kept beeping. That has since fixed itself. So now it beeps a few times and it stops beeping. That's not a big deal. When you go to filament here, and you go to put filament in or out, it will not automatically heat up. So you've got to back up a screen, go to preheat, either extruder 1, extruder 2. Once it gets to temp, then you go to the filament button and you have it feed filament in or feed filament out, which is very simple to do on the screen. And for internet connectivity, it's got an internet button here and you go through everything. And like I said, I haven't got my computer to talk to it yet. I'm not using the camera. Yeah, I had some footage where I'm unboxing this. I'll show you a picture of what it looks like when it came in the mail. And I got my 2 helpers there, my girls, helping me check out the box. They're snipping it, making sure it's safe. And then I slid it into my hobby room, unpacked what I could, removed the foam. Now, one thing that you remember, when you open up the box, in the very top of the foam will be the instructions and the SD card for this. I tried unpacking all the foam without reading the instructions, and it tells you how to go about turning which way, that way, or this way, and pulling everything out, and it explains it, makes it a lot easier. But yeah, it's a lovely machine. I'm very happy with it and pleased with it. It has an all steel frame underneath the plastic here. And then it's got this molded plastic. It's very beautiful. It's very sturdy. It has all linear rails on the X, Y, and Z. It has lead screws that drive it up and down, included with the linear rails. And of course it has belts on it. But it's an awesome machine. I got some really cool prints and stuff I'd like to show you here, and I'll go through, so we'll get to that here in a minute. But yeah, the only thing that I think they should have done, since they have these enclosures to keep your filament completely dry, once you dry it in your dryer, you can put it in here at the desk and it will keep it dry all the way to the head. They should have put a window right here in the front so you would have some kind of an idea how much filament is left. Sure, you can just let it run out and the filament sensor will trip and you can replace it, but it'd be really nice if they had a clear window put in each one of these so when it's mounted you can visually see how much filament is left in case you want to do a change or whatever. You don't want it to run out. You know, for whatever reason, I think there should be a window. Just my opinion, but that's what I think. But these little poles here, there's a button. You click the button, this rod will lift up and down, lock in place, and it's got what looks like a roller pin, like for bread roller, and it goes right through it and they lock up. Very simple, very easy to use, very simple. So let's get on to some of the prints and I'll show you some of the things I've done here. and we'll talk a little bit more about what I'm going to be doing with this printer. But yeah, awesome printer. It's the biggest in my fleet of printers. I simply love it. And I'm not saying that because they sent it to me free to charge to test and review. I think it's a great printer. And if I have any problems, which I'll mention at the end of the video if I had any issues, and I'll let you know what they are. But yeah, let's get right into the prints here, and we'll talk about them right now. Okay, let's take a look at what else came with it here. Okay, we have all of our different screwdrivers here. Got our scraper, got a nice beveled edge on one side. Got different various tools here. A filament needle. Various extra parts. Spanner wrench. Glue stick, LAN cable. These are for the 2 spool holders. We have an extra set of hot ends here. I believe these are probably for PLA and TPU and such. And look down in there, they're beautiful. Really, really nice. Very pretty. And the ones that are going to be installed on it are probably the high temp. For different types of peak and carbon fiber and such. And as you can see here, it's got this rod right here. As the printer is running, it'll go over to the side, it'll bump itself, it'll disengage the one. One extruder will pop down, the other one will pop up. Once it goes to the opposite side, same thing. One will go down, one will go up. That way you can switch extruders depending on what you're printing with 2 different materials. Very nice setup. Let's do a little bit of walk around. It's got a nice screen. It's very, very, very heavy. It's got 2 carrying handles on the side that simply run straight underneath it. They don't cup up underneath. So when you move it, you have to be careful. You don't let your hand slip off of it. And on the back, you've got your power switch, your LAN connection for your cable, Cat 5 or whatever it is, power cord, exhaust fan. And you got your filament holders up here at the top. They simply raise up and lock in place. And when you want to lower them, you simply slide this lever and they drop back down. So we'll get them up. The filament in for each spool will be right here, where you run the filament in on both spools. Casing is plastic, but it's definitely a metal frame and or steel. I'm not sure which, but it's definitely very heavy. A removable top cover, and as you can see on the back there, it's got a small cutout where the filament comes in. That way it'll keep most of the heat in, and it doesn't have any gaping holes where heat can escape, because it does have a heated chamber when you want it on. And over on this side, what do we got? It talks about printing different things and when you take the cover off. I'm printing with PLA sieves, please remove the acrylic cover. Yeah, so you can let the heat escape. You're printing with high temp filaments like ABS and such. You would leave it on. And our two dry boxes come with desiccant, and the blue PTFEs are in there. It has 4 clips, so you just unclip them like Tupperware. Different instructions on it. Very well labeled. These clips here were on the belts to keep them from moving and shipping. These are no longer need these. And then I had a big plastic zip tie holding the heads in place. This thing was packed like a tank. It had a ton of foam, top, bottom, very well packaged. Yeah, very well packaged. When you first get the printer, you open up the top of the box. Before you take out any of the styrofoam, that's where it's got the paperwork, which explains what to do next and how to go about doing it. As you've seen in the video, I had a little bit of trouble getting the foam out. Well, that's because I didn't read the instructions. I usually try to figure things out before I read instructions. And it told in what order to take all the foam out and what to clip and where to remove everything. That way everything comes out easily. So, yeah, always read the instructions first. It does help. It'll save time down the road, save hassle time down the road. That's the paperwork here. It says iFast on it. It explains everything, tells you what comes with it, tells you how to get set up, which I'm currently working on. And yes, I'm reading the paperwork. I'm kind of skimming through it. Explains how to change heads. It explains how the software works. There is a USB stick that comes with it, which will have software on it if you don't want to download it off the net. It explains how to set it up and use it. I guess their slicer is something like a QiD slicer. I hear it works really well. I'll give that a try, and I'll try some of my own slicers. But yeah, it explains step by step basically how to do anything. You've got contact information right here if you should ever have any problems. And very cool. I'm just really amazed that this thing is so big and awesome and professional looking, and I'm just shocked. I'm really shocked. This is so cool. This is so cool. I hope I can do a helmet on it. And some other paperwork that came with it right here. Explains about using a spool holder and the different extruders. Talk about leveling. I'll have to go through all this and see what all this is. Just briefly touching on it, but yeah. Okay, the very first thing I printed on it was this tower, which I thought was a cube, and it stuck perfectly well to the build plate. And unless you let the bed cool all the way down, it'll be stuck very well. Once it completely cools down, you simply grab it and remove it. It's not hard at all. You don't have to remove the flex plate. But yeah, look at the quality on that. That just came out beautiful. Now this is silver metal, 3D ZYLTECH. I ordered a few rolls the other day just for this video. And yeah, that came out beautiful. And as you can see, I've got a failure here. Now this surprised me. It's by Flexi Factory. It's a little astronaut that I purchased, and about halfway done I got a clog and it's printing in midair. I got up overnight and it's like, oh no, what happened? Well, the next day it comes to find out, in the heat break I had a small piece of filament a little over an inch long that got stuck. So I had to take off the hot ends. You take out 6 bolts, remove the ribbon cables on the back. I set it over on my desk, and a friend of mine had mentioned how easy it is to take it apart. So following his advice, I took out 2 screws and I took the fans off. I unscrewed the heat brake, took the nozzle out, unscrewed it. A little tiny piece of filament was in there. I couldn't get it out. Now, before I took it all apart, I went ahead and I squeezed the extruder level like you do on extruders. And I took a very small Allen that they had sent me in this kit that was smaller than the filament, and I tried to run it all the way through with the nozzle heated up, with the hot end heated up and the nozzle removed, but I couldn't get it out. No matter what I did, going up or down, I couldn't get it out, so I had to take it apart and I removed it. Why my new filament right out of the pack randomly broke in the extruder, I don't know. But it did, and this is what happened. So I've got it replaced. And then right after that, I moved on and I printed this Terminator. This is by Sanix. It's a bust at 150% scale. I done one of these a few years ago. It was a little bit larger, and I painted it, and I wound up selling it, but I had it chromed. Well, anyway, here's the silver metal, and here's the way it came out. And just look at the quality of this. A lot of people have asked me, what did you do about layer lines? What layer lines? Of course, there's layer lines. They're microscopic, and you can't notice them, but look at this print quality. You know, it came out amazing. Beautiful. Now, of course, this will get primed and painted and chromed, and I'll put a red eye in it, and it will light up. But this Terminator model, this bust by Sanix, just came out amazing. The quality is simply beautiful. Really, really amazing. And then they had another test print that I done that was on the file. It done a grid on the bed, and with their red filament they supplied, you know, look at that. The quality is amazing. Came out beautiful, no problem whatsoever. And then I done some calibration tests to line up the nozzles. They wanted you to do these calibration tests. So I done them, done a bunch of them, trying to get it just perfect. It wasn't off by much, just off by a hair. So those printed out good. And then with the red filament, I went ahead and I redone the astronaut. And check this, other than that's really super cool, by Flexi Factory. Check that out. Right off the build plate, it just works. Very neat. I had accidentally bought this file twice. I bought it on Cults, and then I bought it on my mini factory thinking I had 2 different versions. But so, anyway, I donated, what, $3 to the author. One was, I think, $2.25 on Cults, and then $2.95 over on my mini factory. So, anyway, no biggie. I bought it twice. But yeah, that is really super cool. Flexi Factory has some really cool stuff. And then, let's go on to the sword here. And then I wanted to print a print-in-place sword. So I got over on Printables, I think it's called. And ta-da, we've got a sword. Print's in place. It worked perfectly fine. When I took it off the build plate and I slinged it out, only like 3 sections came out. The others were just a little bit stuck. So I just took my finger and I pushed them backwards once it was telescoped a little bit, and it freed them up real simple to do with my hand. And then boom, it just works. So that came out very nice. And then I wanted to try a 2-color print. So I think I got this on Thangs, a 2-color print that I found. It's a Moai statue, I believe. I think they have these over on Easter Island. And I wanted to do silver like this at a 3D ZYLTECH silver metal. And I wanted to do red, the red that came from QiD. And I laid one over the other, the models. And both hot ends were turned up. And it came out all red. It does look like it has a really minor layer shift there around the bottom. Not sure what caused that. I printed this overnight last night. But I don't see the 2 colors. So I'm not quite sure what I did wrong. There's Slicer, which is kind of like based off the skin of QiD. It had both files in there. I merged them together. And I did something wrong. So anyway, it's supposed to have been 2 color. It's not, but I will work out the bugs on it. And I think I've already mentioned the hot end here. I showed you pictures of it, but the second hot end here for high temp is with steel nozzles on it. It's amazing. The heat brakes are blue on it. This is just beautiful. Very well built. And when you install these, it's very simple. You simply have, 4, 5, 6 screws to take these on and off. You remove this cover right here on the front. You have a nut here on each side. You unscrew that, and then you got 4 bolts. You go around to the back. You remove a little bracket, which goes right here in these, a U-shaped bracket. You take out the ribbon cables. One clicks in there, one clicks in there. It has a little tiny button on the side that you squeeze, and the paperwork explains all this. To take those off, you hook up the new ribbon cables, you hold it up underneath, and you put the screws back in, wham bam, you're ready to go. And when it changes filament, it simply slides this bar right here. Now watch the nozzles. Here, let's put it down here. Put it down here where you can see it. You see the nozzles there. One's going up, one's going down. Simply bumps it and changes extruders from 1 to 2. And that's how that works. So, yeah, really cool stuff. And like I say, in the next video, I'm going to be trying out the QiD carbon fiber reinforced filament that I got. It says it's 15% carbon fiber reinforced. I'll be trying that out in the next video. And also, I'll be doing, and in that same video, I'll have the QiD dry box here. This is the third one that I have here. I can either use this as a backup for the ones that I have to keep filament in to keep it dry with the desiccant. And the desiccant's reusable. It explains in the paperwork how you can rejuvenate it and get it going again. And that'll be coming up in the next video. And yeah, it's very cool. Like I say, I've got to figure out the camera. The camera, it's the newer version of the cameras. It's not the one that they had in older versions of this machine. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that to work right. But that'd be really cool if I could monitor that on my desktop, have the camera going, or do time lapses or such. So, but I'll show you a picture here on the screen of where the camera is. It's located right up underneath here. There's a camera. You can put your hand in there and fill a square box. It feels like a cube, like it's probably 2 inch by 2 inch square, I'm guessing, by the way it feels. So, but very cool. So, I got some more pictures here and stuff I'll tell you. I'll have links to everything that I can remember where they came from down below in the video. Links to the company, where you can find them over on Amazon. And yeah, really cool, awesome printer. I love it. I had a bunch of other footage I filmed with my Canon Rebel TI5 right here. I didn't like the way the footage came out, so I went ahead and dropped that. I'm not using it. I'm filming with my cell phone, which has really good quality. And I guess that's about it for now, guys. But oh, one other thing I want to mention, guys, I forgot to say. You've noticed throughout the video, well, you've seen my reflection. You've seen this blue shirt I'm wearing with the big Maker Deck logo on it. Well, over on Twitch, Chris Perillo has an awesome channel on Twitch. It streams 24/7. People are doing makes and their prints from all over the world stream on there on this channel. There's over anywhere from 75 to 150 people at a time watching 24 hours a day. Chat is very active. If you'd like to check them out, I'll put a link down below in the description where you can check out MakerDeck over on Twitch, or simply do a search for MakerDeck. Please give them a follow. Consider subscribing. Awesome channel. Kieran, Pez, Liz, and some other people are mods on there, and Chris Perillo. They're in chat 24/7. There's multiple mods there all the time. Lots of cool prints. They stream up to 10 people at a time doing prints, doing things that they're making and working on. It's very cool, very interactive, and I think you guys will love it and like to check it out. And I bought this shirt from Redbubble. They've got a link on Twitch where you can buy this shirt. And I'm also on Twitch at Jerry3DHP. You can also buy my merch from Redbubble. I stream every week, and obviously I do videos on YouTube. I've got a channel called 3D Printing and Painting. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. You can find me pretty much anywhere and everywhere. I've been doing this for like, I don't know, 7-8 years now. I review a little bit of everything. I do resin printing. I've got CNC machines. I've got lasers. What else? I paint occasionally. Not enough because I have so many prints. I know I should paint more. I'm working on it. But yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for watching. It's really awesome having people watch my stuff that I do. I try to give honest opinions all the time on everything I do. And I have so many friends out there in the world. You guys are great. Love all of you. And here, stay tuned. At the end of the video, I'm going to have tons of pictures to show you. It's going to have the specs on this printer. And I downloaded a bunch of pictures off their Amazon site. I'll have links to everything below down in the description. So thank you very much, everybody. Stay awesome. Appreciate it. Later.